Okay guys, so today we are going to talk about the need of writing parameterized constructors or our own constructors. Basically compiler provides us with the default constructor, but then if the compiler provides us, then why do we need to write our own, right? Isn't it? So this question need to be answered. Now we are going to answer this question in this particular session. Okay, so let's start. So I'll first create a package. I'll just increase the font a bit, guys. I know it's very small. Let me increase. I'll just keep it 16 and I'll yes. So package account system. Then let's create a public class account. Now let's define account number, guys. Let's write account number, then balance, right? And then we will define methods. So public void deposit amount and double amount. So the logic of this would be balance equal to balance plus amount, right? Simple. So let's keep like this method and get balance method only. Let's not add other methods over here because we have already added them in our the previous example where we were implementing the full-fledged accounting system. But here our main concentration is on understanding the need of writing our own constructors. So public double, I'll just add one more, get balance, which will return us the balance, right? So return balance. Now let me save this. So I'll create a folder here. Java program. I'll say account .java. Right. So let's create our main class now, where we are going to create the object of this account class. So here also I'll just increase the font before I start writing. So it's a package account system demo and class account system demo, right? Now let's define our main method. As this is the main class, so this will have a main method, public static void main string args right? And here we will be we will be now creating the object of this class, right? Now when we access any class which is from a different package, like this class is in a account system demo package and this class is in a different package, right? It is going to be in its own folder, right? So let's do that, because I want to explain you few concepts along with the constructor. So let's do the compilation. So I'll say java c space and I'll just mention the path of my program. So I'll just go there in d colon. So I'll just go inside the folder. I'm just pasting the path and I'll say count.java. So I have compiled. Right, so I'm compiling the program. Let it compile. Yes, compilation done. Now what we need to do, like this class we have compiled. Now we need to create a package folder. Usually these things IDEs take care of, like Eclipse and all, but when we are doing it from outside of the IDE, we need to take care of these things. Okay, so folder, I am creating a package folder and I am going to shift this class file, Control X, cut it from here and shift it in the package folder. Okay, so I have shifted the class file in the package folder. So the class which is written in the package, right, the class file of it stays in its package folder, right, as we know, as we have already discussed about these things, but I'm just revising the things for you. Right, now when here I want to access this class, I cannot just put a direct reference to the class. Like I just cannot say account space act1 equal to new account. Why is it so? Because this class where I am making a reference is in a different package. It is going to be placed in its own package folder, the class file of this class, and class file of this class which I am using is going to be residing in its different folder, right? So we cannot just make a direct reference. So how do we need to make a reference? Package name dot class name. So that is account system dot account system. This is how we need to make a reference, isn't it? But like if you are creating, let's say, multiple objects now, or multiple times you need to refer to the account class, everywhere you have to say package name dot class name, package name dot class name. Now how can we, like what will happen here? Like if there are, let's say, 10 references like this in your code file, right, and if you tomorrow want to change the package of your class, what you will do, you will simply change the package name in that Java file. Okay, you will compile this Java file, you will get the class file, you will create the package folder with the changed name, and you will ship that class file there. That is one thing which you will do. The other thing, the other changes which you may need to do is, like which you would be required to do is over here, like where you are using that class and there, let's say at 10 different places you have mentioned that package name dot class name, package name dot class name is how the reference is. Then you have to modify the package name in all those 10-20 references you have made there, right? So what is the good solution? Instead of mentioning the package name dot class name, package name dot class name, the good solution is import that package or import that class from package. So you can say import name of the package dot name of the class, which is account. So you have to do only this once, okay, and then at rest of the places you can simply remove the package name reference. You can directly refer to the account class. Why? Because when the compiler will now compile this statement, it will understand that there is one package which is imported, and that compiler can go to the class path folder, can find the package folder, and from inside it can find the class file as well. So then compiler don't need the class name to be associated with the package name now, because that reference has already been done. We have already told compiler that in which package folder it can get this account class by mentioning it in the import clause. This is called import clause, right? So if you wish to change the name of the package of your account class, and then after that change in this particular file, your change of the package name would only be you would be doing here. Only this is the thing which you would be changing, because in the rest of the places you now no longer have used package name, right? So that's the advantage here. So import you can do. Now, like what we are doing here, we are creating an account object, isn't it? We are creating an account object here. Now this is the default constructor. So what does this do? So when your object is getting created, okay, when your object is getting created, then the instance variables get created, and they get created with the default values, right? As we have already discussed about the default constructor. So the job of the default constructor is to put the default values into the instance variables which would be created, right? Now I want my own values to put into these variables. After the object creation for ACT1, I want the account number to be 1 and balance to be 1000. So how I can do that is ACT1 dot account number and ACT1 dot balance equal to 1000. But the problem over here is, guys, if you look at it here, these variables like account number, balance, they are not defined with the public access specifiers. Okay, so these are defined with the default access specifier. The default access means when you don't mention the access specifiers like either as public or private, as or protected. So when you don't define, it is called as default access specifier. And default access specifier is where the member is only can be accessed within the same package. So any other class, okay, if there is any other class present in this same package, in that class, with the help of the object of this account class, we can access these members. But right now we are in need of accessing these members here in the other class, in the class which is in some different package. So if this class wants to access these, access these variables right here, then these variables need to be defined with public access specifier, but which class has not done. And obviously class doesn't just just to allow the access to the other classes, it doesn't follow the policy of defining the member variables as public. Why? Because if it exposes or if it makes it public, so if you make your variable exposed, then both kinds of accesses to the variable gets allowed, like getting and setting. Like this account number and balance, if I made make public here, okay, if I make public here like this, what will happen? Let's understand. This is very important concept, guys. I mean, I'm telling you this, very important as far as implementations of the concepts are concerned. So if I expose them, so what will happen? Like anybody would be able to set the value to the account number and balance as well as get the values. Getting is still fine, I would say, in this particular scenario, but setting like this should not be allowed. Why? Because if you make these things, this account number, balance exposed to the outside world, then you can n number of times you can set the values to these variables. Now let's consider the account number here. Now let's consider from the context of the application we are building, guys. So when you go to the bank, you open an account and you get the account number, and account number you get only at the at the time of the opening an account, but then during the life cycle of your account, right, with the bank, you cannot change the account number, isn't it? You have to just use the same account number. Balance you can modify, but that is only through depositing the money in the account and withdrawing. You cannot just go and say, please make my balance 1 crore rupees. You cannot say it like that, isn't it? But if you are exposing the balance variable here, you can set any value to it, and then that account one will have this this amount in its this number is set to the balance variable of it, which is wrong in the context of application we are building. So account number and balance we cannot just expose like this, because if we expose to the account number, we can set n number of times the value we would like to, and balance also we would be able to set anything. Now the balance should be modified only with the deposit amount and withdraw amount. Okay, that is the only way you can modify your balance. That is the legitimate way you can modify your balance, isn't it? And account number you should not be able to set at the time of creation. At the time of creation only the account number variable gets the value. After that there is no possibility of setting any value to the account number. But here the requirement is we want to set these values, isn't it? We do want at the time of account opening, like the bank wants to give an option to the customer that okay, either open a zero balance account or open with some minimum amount, right? So these two options bank wants to give to the customers, but the we cannot just set the values to this, or rather we should not allow to set the values to these two variables like this. So what can we do? At the time of creation we want to set the user defined data to these variables, right? But at the time of creation, what gets called? The constructor gets called. Which constructor? Default constructor. What does it do? It sets the values to the variables, default values it set. It doesn't set the user defined values. But we want a way now to set the user defined values to the variables at the time of creation. And if you want to be able to set your own data in these variables at the time of object being created, then you have to have your own constructor written here, because compiler provides you only with the default constructor, which doesn't accept any parameters, right? It doesn't accept any parameters, and the implementation of it is already set, that to set the values to the default values. You cannot just change the definition of that constructor or the implementation of it. But now in the context of your application, you need, like the customer will come, he will say like okay, I want the account number 1. So at the time of creation we want to set the value for the account number and as well as the balance too in some cases, right? So here we want a way where we can set the where we want to set our own values into our variables at the time of creation of an object, and hence we need to write our own constructors. We cannot just rely on the default constructor, right? Because at the time of creation, because it may happen that at the time of creation like the default constructor will create these variables with the default values, but we want our own data to be set over there. But it may happen that in order to set your own data to those variables are not accessible to you because the class has not exposed it due to the security purpose, and that's what the that's what the abstraction is all about. Class always decides which data are to be exposed and which kind of variables to not to expose, isn't it? So that's the reason we need now our own constructor. We don't want to rely on the default constructor, as we want to put our own data at the time of creation of our object, and that is the need of implementing our own constructors, which we are going to talk about now in our next video.